Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to Vinny the Axe. Today I want to give you an update on the Marshall Jubilee mini head and matching 212 cap. So last week, I wasn't too sure about using drives in front of the amp. And then I got a bunch of really nice comments from people watching that last episode saying, hey, try a clone, try a tube screamer, try this or that. And they were throwing out some names of some brands and model pedals. So I said, let me go into the collection and see what I have, and just I could try some various different things. So what I ended up with, even after trying a bunch of Noble's ODR1 clones, clones, Tube Screamer clones, I decided to pull out the NRG Purrer Overdrive. Now the NRG Purrer Overdrive is, I consider, a transparent overdrive, if that's a thing. And what I mean by that is no matter what amp I put it to, whatever gain I have the amp set at, if I punch in that NRG pedal, it just adds more gain. So it sounds like the amp has more of a gain range, if that makes any sense, without changing the tonal characteristics of the amp. That's my word for transparent. So I said, let me give that a shot because I've never had a problem with that pedal on anything as far as, me not liking it. So I put it on the amp, put it on the clean channel, and man, it sounded really good. So I'm like, okay, I think this will work. I could even use it for a boost on the drive channel, which I did test, and it sounded cool as well. So it just adds extra punch and sustain to whatever the drive setting is on the drive channel. So what I did from there was I was like, let me see if I can put something else on here and do some testing. So I said, let me try Fuzz. Now, I'm not a Fuzz guru, and I've been in a small testing phase with Fuzzes over the years and buying a couple here and there. And I want to like Fuzz. I really do. And most of the time I don't dig it for whatever reason. But I'm starting to understand it a little bit better. And I really have come to the understanding that you need to use your volume control on your guitar to get the fuzz to sound the way you want. That's pretty much it. You can't just leave the volume cranked all the way up and then just step on it. I mean, you can, but if you want to get some really, smooth tones out of it, it's not happening like that. So you have to really learn to work the volume control on the guitar. So I know that the trick you could do to get some really cool solo tones is to put a fuzz in front of an overdrive. And what the overdrive does, especially if it's set mild, the overdrive rounds off the fuzzy edge of the fuzz pedal without taking away the characteristic of the fuzz, if that makes any sense. So I put that in front of the Energy Purrer, set the Purrer to a mild just drive, like a breakup drive, and then try that. And man, did it sound killer. It sounds absolutely awesome. So even with the Purrer set in the higher gain setting, and let me just explain, the Purrer it's a double channel pedal, but they're both identical. So in other words, you could set one to however you like, and you could set the other one to a different gain volume or whatever, or make it a little bit more of a boost if you want it for solo. So you can do a lot of stuff with that pedal. So I had one side set with a lot of gain and one side with mild amount of gain. Both ways it sounded great. The fuzz sounds awesome through there and in conjunction with. So as it stands right now, the pedal board I think is going to stay for a while is the AnalogMan SunFace, the Energy Purrer Overdrive in front of the amp, and then I have a Keeley Halo delay and a Strymon Flint reverb going into the loop. And I'm very, very pleased with that. The SunFace, had I known a little bit more about fuzzes, I eventually, after I had bought the SunFace from AnalogMan. Now, if you go to AnalogMan's site, and I'm not endorsed or paid by them or anything like that, they make really good stuff. If you go there, you can have the fuzz built, SunFace built to multiple different specs, multiple different internal parts. And so I had to make me one with the smoothest, less gainy fuzz that they can almost make. When I was reading the descriptions, I kind of picked those options. And again, I don't know anything about fuzz, and I was kind of like, well, maybe I just don't like how gainy they are. Maybe that's why I don't like fuzz, so that's where I went with this. Had I known that when I bought my Jimi Hendrix limited edition Fuzz Face, like I said, that with a pause in it, Fuzz Face. When I bought the Fuzz Face, I really like that one better than all the ones I have, and it has nothing to do with Hendrix or anything like that. I'm not a guy that plays Hendrix all day, on the radio or anything like that. I just like the sound of this one, and I did a video on that Fuzz previously. I opened it up and showed the inside of it and how to mount the battery maybe in a better way. But I like the sound of that one a lot better. So had I known what it is I actually like, I would have probably had the SunFace made to that spec instead of what I did with this one, which, again, does not sound bad. It's just not, they're apples and oranges. And if you're into fuzzes, you definitely know what I'm talking about, because you probably know way more than me about fuzzes, and you can go down a rabbit hole with those things. But yeah, that Fuzz Face is awesome, and even the SunFace from AnalogMan is fantastic. And I'm sure if I had a bunch of them lined up, different configurations of the SunFace, I'm sure I'd find one that I like, as much as the Hendrix one, or if not even better. What I do like about the SunFace is that I had it made so that it doesn't run on a 9-volt battery, which might be sacrilege in the fuzz world, because I've read a lot of stuff where sometimes when you add a power supply to a fuzz, it doesn't react like it does with a 9-volt battery. That's what they say. I don't know. I just wanted something that was friendly to put on the board that I don't have to worry about unplugging it all the time, because if you leave it plugged in with the battery, and it'll go dead. So anyway, so this is where we are with the board. I'm very pleased with the amp. The amp sounds great in the clean channel. The amp sounds great on the overdrive channel. It sounds great with these two pedals that I selected, in my opinion. It also sounded really good with a tube screamer in front of it, to be quite honest with you. But I think the Energy Purrer doesn't have that mid spike in it. You can EQ it a little bit flatter, which I like. And it does have a mid switch, which kind of brings the mids out, but yet it still retains the low end and the high end, because you're dealing with two different EQ knobs on the Purrer plus a mid switch. So you can kind of dial in an EQ a little bit better than you can with just a plain tube screamer. So anyway, I hope you got something out of this video. I'm going to be doing more videos in the future. Please do me a favor and like and subscribe. It's really going to help out this channel so I can continue doing this. I really am enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm having a good time, and it's really nice to see the interaction with the comments in the comments field. There's been some really nice people stopping by and saying hello, and and then throwing some advice out there. So once again, thanks for watching Vinny the Axe. Take it easy.